Pretend Until Our Hearts Are Real Part 5. By the 8th week, the producers had stopped hiding their intentions. The show was no longer about couples in general, it was about Wei and Zhang Yichen. Every teaser, every highlight reel, every promotional clip centered on them. The other couples noticed, their smiles tightening, their laughter growing brittle. Some whispered resentment, others feigned indifference, but everyone knew where the spotlight had shifted. He had entered the show to salvage his career, but now he was caught in something far more dangerous, the possibility of real love under the glare of millions of eyes. The week began with a bombshell announcement, Public Declaration Week. Each couple would be asked to make a statement about their relationship, a declaration of love, commitment, or truth, in front of a live audience. The producers framed it as a celebration, but Wei knew it was a test of authenticity, a test of courage. The couples prepared nervously. The idol pair rehearsed lines, their words polished but hollow. The model and athlete planned a glamorous speech, their gestures choreographed. The comedian and his husband decided to wing it, trusting their banter to carry them through. He had spent his life performing, but this felt different. This wasn't just about acting. The day of the declarations arrived. The couples gathered on a stage, the audience buzzing with anticipation, the cameras trained on every face. The idol pair spoke first, their words polished but unconvincing. The model and athlete followed, their speech glamorous but hollow. The comedian and his husband delivered a heartfelt declaration, their laughter mingling with sincerity. Wei's chest tightened, his breath catching. That's why I love him. The declaration was raw, vulnerable, undeniable. The next day brought another challenge, couples interviews. Each pair was asked to sit down with a journalist and answer questions about their relationship. The idol pair delivered rehearsed answers, their chemistry questioned. Wei and Yichen sat together. The journalist's questions blunt. Are you really in love?
Yes.
The room buzzed, the cameras lingered, the journalist scribbled furiously. That we're in love. The aftermath of Public Declaration Week reverberated far beyond the house. Clips of Zhang Yichen saying, "That's why I love him," spread across social media like wildfire. Fans dissected every frame, every pause, every glance. Some swooned, declaring it the most authentic moment in reality television history. Others scoffed, insisting it was scripted, a calculated stunt. But regardless of opinion, one truth was undeniable. Wei and Yichen had become the center of the show. The producers leaned into the drama, scheduling challenges that forced intimacy. The next was couples retreat. Each pair was given a private day away from the house, filmed but less structured, meant to showcase natural chemistry. Without the structure of challenges, without the safety of roles, he would be exposed. Their retreat was set in a quiet villa by the sea. The cameras followed at a distance, capturing laughter, silence, glances. Wei and Yichen walked along the shore, the waves lapping at their feet, the sky painted with sunset. Yichen nodded. He wanted to answer, wanted to admit what he was feeling, but fear held him back. That's enough. The retreat ended with a dinner by candlelight. The cameras lingered, capturing every glance, every touch. Yichen raised his glass, his voice steady.
To us.
The audience swooned. The producers smiled. The other couples watched with envy. Clips of the retreat went viral, fans declaring them the most convincing couple on the show. You can't fake that kind of intimacy, one comment read. One evening, as they all sat in the living room, the comedian confronted them directly. So, he said gently, is this still pretend? It's real. By the 9th week, the outside world had begun to intrude more aggressively. The producers had succeeded in turning Wei and Zhang Yichen into the centerpiece of the show, but now the media, fans, and critics were circling like hawks. Headlines speculated daily. Is their love real or scripted? Talk shows debated their chemistry, analysts dissected their every gesture, and social media was ablaze with theories. Wei felt the pressure like a vice. He had always feared irrelevance, but now he feared exposure. If this was real, if his feelings for Yichen were genuine, then the world would demand proof. And if it wasn't, if it was all just an act, then the world would tear him apart. The producers leaned into the chaos, announcing a new twist. Family Week. Each couple would be visited by someone from their personal lives, filmed and broadcast to millions. It was meant to test authenticity, to see how their relationships held up under the scrutiny of those who knew them best. He hadn't told his family about the show, hadn't explained the act, hadn't prepared them for the possibility of real feelings. You're enough. The day of the visits arrived. The couples gathered in the living room, the cameras trained on every face, the producers smiling. The idol pair's parents arrived first, their words polished, but their smiles strained. The model and athlete's friends followed, glamorous but attached. The comedian and his husband's family filled the room with laughter, their bond undeniable. Li Wei's breath caught as his older sister walked into the room. She looked at him, her eyes sharp, her expression unreadable. "Li Wei," she said softly, "what are you doing here?" Yichen stepped forward, his voice steady. "He's living. He's fighting. He's finding himself." The room buzzed, the cameras lingered, the producers leaned forward. Li Wei's sister looked at Yichen, her eyes narrowing. "And you? Are you pretending?"
No.
"I'm here because I care about him. Because I love him." Li Wei's sister looked at him, her eyes softening. "Then don't waste this. Don't waste him." Clips of the visit went viral, fans declaring them the most convincing couple on the show. "You can't fake that kind of family approval," one comment read. The media began to swarm, their headlines growing sharper, their questions more brutal. Is Li Wei exploiting Yichen? Is Yichen carrying Li Wei? Is this love or desperation? Li Wei read the words late at night, his chest tight, his mind racing. "Why do you keep saying it's real?" "Because it is." The visit from Li Wei's sister had left ripples in the house. Her words, "Don't waste this. Don't waste him," echoed in Li Wei's mind long after she left. For the first time, someone outside the show had acknowledged what was happening between him and Yichen. It was terrifying, exhilarating, and impossible to ignore. But the outside world was relentless. Is Li Wei exploiting Yichen's fame? Talk shows debated their chemistry, analysts dissected their every gesture, and fans demanded answers. The producers leaned into the chaos, announcing a new twist. Press conference. Each couple would face a panel of journalists, answering questions live. It was meant to test authenticity, to see who could withstand the glare of scrutiny. The day of the press conference arrived. The couple sat on a stage, the journalists buzzing with anticipation, the cameras trained on every face. The idol pair delivered polished answers, their chemistry questioned. He's here because he's brave, because he's fighting, because he's finding himself. I love him. The room buzzed, the cameras lingered, the journalists scribbled furiously. That you love me? Because I do. The next challenge was couple's choice. Each pair was asked to make a decision together, fame or love, success or happiness, truth or safety. Love. Happiness. Truth. Happiness? Truth. Fame fades. Success fades. Safety fades. The climax of the week came with a surprise twist. Audience Q&A. Fans submitted questions online, and the couples were asked to answer them live. The idol pair stumbled, their chemistry questioned. The model and athlete faltered, their authenticity doubted. Li Wei and Yichen faced the hardest question of all.
Yes.
The 10th week arrived like a drumbeat, heavy and inevitable. The finale loomed, and the house buzzed with anticipation. The producers had promised a grand closing event, a live broadcast, a massive audience, and one final challenge that would decide the fate of the couples. Li Wei felt the weight of it pressing down on him. He had entered the show to salvage his career, but now he stood on the edge of something far more dangerous, the possibility of real love under the glare of millions of eyes. Every moment with Yichen had blurred the line further, and Li Wei no longer knew if he was acting or living. The producers announced the final challenge, the ultimate choice. Each couple would be asked to make a decision live, in front of the audience, the cameras, and the world. The choice was simple but brutal: Continue as a couple beyond the show, or part ways when the cameras stopped rolling. The announcement sent shockwaves through the house. The idol pair panicked, their rehearsed chemistry unraveling. The model and athlete argued, their ambition clashing with vulnerability. The comedian and his husband laughed nervously, their bond strong but tested. Li Wei froze. His chest tightened, his breath caught, his mind raced. "We'll choose together," he said softly. "I don't know if I can."
You can.
"Because it's real." The day of the finale arrived. The couple stood on a grand stage, the audience buzzing with anticipation, the cameras trained on every face. The producers smiled, knowing the drama they had orchestrated. The idol pair went first. Their voices trembled as they chose to part ways, their chemistry shattered, their act exposed. The audience murmured, the cameras lingered, the producers frowned. The model and athlete followed. Their voices were steady as they chose to continue, their ambition driving them forward, their bond uncertain but determined. The audience applauded, the cameras lingered, the producers smiled. The comedian and his husband went next. Their voices were warm as they chose to continue, their laughter mingling with sincerity, their bond undeniable. The audience erupted in applause, the cameras lingered, the producers beamed. Li Wei's chest tightened, his breath caught, his mind raced. "That's why I love him. And that's why I choose him." The choice was raw, vulnerable, undeniable. The applause from the live audience still echoed in Li Wei's ears long after the stage lights dimmed. The finale had been broadcast to millions, and Zhang Yichen's words, "That's why I love him. And that's why I choose him," had already begun to ripple across the world. Social media exploded, fans debated endlessly, and headlines declared the moment historic. But for Li Wei, the noise outside was nothing compared to the storm inside. He had spent his life pretending, performing, hiding behind roles. And now, for the first time, he had no script. "It's over," he said softly. "The show is done. The cameras are gone. The cameras are never gone. The world is watching. Let them watch." He closed his eyes, his heart racing, and for the first time, he wondered if he was brave enough to step beyond the stage. The next morning, the couples gathered for the final farewell. The idol pair smiled politely, their chemistry shattered but their careers intact. The model and athlete posed for photos, their ambition driving them forward. The comedian and his husband laughed warmly, their bond stronger than ever. Li Wei and Yichen stood together, their hands brushing, their eyes steady. The producers smiled, the cameras lingered, the audience swooned. Clips of their farewell went viral, fans declaring them the most convincing couple on the show. The cameras were gone, but the echoes remained. For weeks, Li Wei had lived under the constant gaze of millions, every gesture magnified, every word dissected. Now, the silence of the empty stage felt almost unbearable. He had expected relief, but what he felt instead was a strange vulnerability, as though the absence of cameras had stripped away the last layer of protection.
He said,
"That's enough." Headlines multiplied, true love or perfect script. But in the quiet of their shared apartment, the noise faded. They cooked together, burning rice and laughing at their mistakes. They argued over music playlists, then reconciled with late-night walks under neon lights. They discovered that intimacy wasn't in declarations or viral clips. It was in the ordinary, unfilmed moments. Li Wei began to act again, but differently. He no longer chased roles for fame. He chose characters that spoke to him, that allowed him to be honest. Yichen's music shifted too. His songs carried raw emotion, lyrics that hinted at vulnerability and joy. Together, they performed not for survival, but for the sheer pleasure of creating something real. Their first public test came when a reporter ambushed them outside a cafe. The journalist demanded. Li Wei froze, but Yichen answered calmly, "Yes, it's real." The clip went viral, dissected endlessly. But for Li Wei, the moment mattered not because of the headlines, but because Yichen had spoken without hesitation. That night, Li Wei whispered, "Why do you keep saying that?" Yichen smiled. "Because it's true." The real proof was never in interviews or applause. It was in the way Yichen's hand lingered when they crossed the street, in the way his voice softened when Li Wei faltered, in the way Li Wei felt lighter when Yichen laughed. The truth, the unfilmed, unedited truth, was harder, riskier, and infinitely more precious. He found something stronger than fame, stronger than fear, stronger than desperation. He found love.